All right, good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Osborne, and figured that you might be watching your getting ready to watch your next round of Netflix right now, and I thought I'd give you something else to think about. I appreciate all your feedback on our videos that we've had over the last couple days or last couple weeks, and I just want you to know that that everything is going to be okay. Um, I do as we kind of give everybody a chance to get on here. I want us to make sure that well, it looks like we're not having a hard time getting onto Facebook there, but that's all right. We'll do the best that we can. So I'm going to get started here. All right, so we're doing something a little different. I'm trying this new thing where we can actually have some slides for you guys. So I've never been stranded on a desert island, but I can imagine it would be a complete downer. Okay. Loneliness, no one to talk to, facing difficulties and danger by yourself. I mean, heck, life, it can be that way, even in the middle of this humongous city that we call San Jose, or you might be in a company or even a work group, or it might even be lonely sometimes in a family, with people all around you, but no one's really there, no one to talk to, and usually it's a one-way conversation, right? And many of us that are now working at home are just starting to find that out, that it's not as much fun working at home. But even when someone's listening, no one knows enough about one thing, your thing, or what's troubling you, or what your words mean, and to help you in a way. But they're tribes. Tribes are different. Tribes are relevant. Tribes are magical. A tribe is a living, it's a breathing organism, and it's the characteristics of a tribe, the attributes of tribal of equity that's where the power lies. That's where the power really lies. And I want to welcome you to the Discover Health Tribe. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this, because this is where we start to make changes and transformations, not only in the way that we think, but the way that we live. And so tonight we're going to be really focusing on a couple things, and really just 7 things. I'm going to talk about the 7 vital actions to improve your immune function. And really the big question everybody's wondering is, am I at risk, right? And this is really your guide to the other side, your guide to be able to say, okay, I feel that I'm moving in the right direction. Because here's the thing, there's what we call probability and there's what we call possibility. Anything's possible in this world. Whether it's probable or not, well, that's to be determined. And so we know that it's possible that anybody could, catch a flu, anybody could get the coronavirus, but whether it's possible, well, I will tell you this, is it's going to be up to you. There's an old story B.J. Palmer wrote in one of what he called his green books, and he said that there are 2 people sitting at a workbench. Both of them are exposed to the same germs. Both of them are exposed to the same everything. And one of them gets sick and one of them doesn't. Now the question is why is it? Why did that one person get sick there? And it's the environment, right? It's not the external environment that's as important, but it is the internal environment, which is even more important there. So we're going to kind of move on here, and I just want to kind of run with a couple things with you. So first of all, I think that I just want to talk about what we need right now. And I want you to have certainty. I want you to have conviction. I want you to have clarity about our health, and I want you to have confidence. There's a story about if today was your birthday, what would you want your one wish to be, right? What would be the one thing that you would wish for? And you ask somebody on their deathbed, their one wish would be that they'd want health. And many times, many of us facing our own mortality, our one wish that we have would be that we would be healthy and remain healthy, and the people that we love would be there. So that's what we're going to talk about, is your one wish. And I heard this one story about this family that had a really cool tradition, and really, everyone was, every time somebody would celebrate a birthday, they would get together and they used to eat chocolate cake, and after that person was having they turn 25 and they get 25 wishes. And so one year they all got together, and they ate their cake like crazy, and Dad pulled out his huge list of things that he wanted, and he's things like, I want to take people to Europe with me, and I want to take everybody to Disneyland with me. And then, next year he got a little bit older, and they ate chocolate cake just like they always had. And they asked what his wish was. He goes, I have one wish, and that's that I have my health. I've had many wishes in the past, but this time he was diagnosed with cancer. And so we can all have wishes throughout our life and things that we want, but really the most important thing is our health. That's really the reason why I'm doing this webinar tonight. It's my mission to make sure that you and your loved ones and your community and all the people out there have a chance to actually take back control of their health. When we start to feel powerless, we start to go in directions that might not support us. And so what I want to do is empower you to be healthy there, so that you can have the knowledge to be able to that you feel safe and secure in the time that you spend with your loved ones there. So really, I think the main thing is that what's the problem right now? We have really three problems. Number one, we have immunocompromised people out there. That's why they're saying, keep your elderly patients, sequestered in quarantine. Don't let people get to them. Keep them safe, right? If you have an immunocompromised system, stay safe there. But here's the thing: is that we got to dive into this, because it really isn't a joke, right? There's something going on out there. The problem is that whether you talk to CNN or Fox or MSNBC, you read what newspaper you read, the information's all different. But what we got to do is we got to dive in right now. We got to talk about focus. We need to talk right now what we need to do to stabilize our heads. We need to get a plan on what to do next. And then we really need to talk about being proactive. And really the most important thing is we got to go on the offensive, right? We got to stop being defensive, stop hiding away. We need to go on the offensive. So, and because what happens is when we're on the defense, we just stay in a place of fear there. And really in my heart, I really see this as an opportunity for all of us to grow and all of us to come together. So as we move through this, what I really want you to know is that there's going to be really three phases that we go through in this process. The first phase is that we have our stabilization phase. We just got to get things stable in our lives, stable in our environment, stable with our health there. We got to get our heads on right. We got to start focusing on it. The second thing is we got to start to have to reactivate or rebuild our lives. And you really have a great opportunity with how you're going to rebuild your life after this. Phase three, we just got to get outside. We got to start making this world a different place. I was out running this morning, and I was walking over the valley. I was looking over the valley, and it's cleaner than I've seen it in 20 years. Right? The sky was beautiful. The air was clean and crisp. There wasn't an ounce of pollution in the sky. So we really have an opportunity to see things different. But we just got to get a new perspective there. I think the main thing though is that everything we know is going to be different, right? Everything today is different. It'll never go back to the way that it was. We see things different, and there's very few examples in history of how of something like this. Really, nobody was prepared for this. Nobody like in school taught you how to handle it. If you have your MBA or PhD, nobody said this is what you do in times like these. And so what we do know is one of the worst things that we can do is hide from what's going on. We really want to look at this situation with our eyes wide open. We just don't want to forget where we are. One of my other videos I talked about, statistics, and I'm a big numbers guy because the numbers are facts many times, and depending actually sometimes how you interpret them. But look, 1 out of 2, I think it's the probability that somebody dies of cancer is 1 out of 5. The probability that somebody dies of heart disease is 1 out of 5, and the probability that somebody dies of cancer is 1 out of 7. Look, we got bigger fish to fry now. We got half of our children are on a medication. We have autism is growing at incredible rates. Alzheimer's is on the other end of the spectrum is almost an epidemic, right? If we count the number of people that have Alzheimer's in our society right now, literally we're at a pandemic of Alzheimer's there. And it's only going to get worse. And where are all the people shutting down society? So what we have to do is get focused on the main thing and focus on what we're going to do next. And so, yeah, we have to realize that this is a contagious flu. Now, there's a difference between contagious and dangerous. Okay, and that's an important factor to really think about, because unless we can differentiate contagious from dangerous, we're going to be in a constant place of fear there. I'm going to switch right over here. Oops, I think I lost you guys. Sorry about that. There we go. So, but number one, we know it's a virus, and we know how viruses behave. And some contagious, some are contagious and some are dangerous, and some are not contagious and dangerous. But there's a difference between contagious and dangerous. And this is very contagious right now. It's a contagious virus. A lot of people will catch it. And it is dangerous to a very select group of people. There's a small percentage of people that it's dangerous to, and those are the ones that are immunocompromised. So here's what we do know, that when you are subluxated, when your nervous system's under stress, it shifts your body into a stress response. You release all types of stress hormones, specifically cortisol, that downregulates your immune system, and you're immunocompromised. When people receive an adjustment, it reduces the nerve stress, which restores your body back to rest and repair, and helps with that somebody that's in an immunocompromised position. And I've seen this after 25 years of practice. People that have been all different types of diagnoses. And that's really the reason why we're reaching out in the community. People hear the numbers and they think that they think that it's dangerous, but we really have to differentiate that contagious from dangerous. It is dangerous to a group of people. Now the question is do you want to be in that group of people? And if not, there's something that you can do. Subluxation makes you immunocompromised. It puts stress on your nervous system, and that's the big thing. Getting adjusted is not going to prevent you from getting the coronavirus. Getting adjusted is going to move you in a right direction. But and we're going to cover a lot of things that, if you're eating, drinking every night, and you're eating bad food, and you're stressing yourself out, those things are going to have a massive impact. We're talking about helping your body reach its full potential there. So our job is to be able to normalize and optimize your nervous system function so your body can adapt to the stresses of the world there. And there's never been a more important time to do this. So while everyone's in a panic about the coronavirus, we officially name it the COVID-19. I'm going to not really even use that name anymore because it has so many connotations like cancer, right? There's a deadlier virus right now that people are forgetting about, and that is the flu. Flu season is still hitting us right now. I have people that are coming in and they're like, I just had influenza A, I just had influenza B. And, there's at least 12,000 people have already died between October 1st, 2019 and February 1st, 2020. And nobody's talking about the 12,000 people that already died. We've forgotten about them. And they expect the number of deaths from that particular flu to be as high as 30,000. So if all of a sudden the deaths from coronavirus went up to 30,000, people would be freaking out. But we forget that many people have already had the flu so far. And so the CDC estimates that up to 31 million people this year, okay? And keep that in perspective, 31 million people have already caught the flu this season. There was in between 210,000, 370,000 flu sufferers that visited the hospital because of the flu virus, not the coronavirus. So it's very important that we talk about perspective. Perspective is the most important thing that we can talk about, because without perspective, we actually lose the ability to think, okay? And so I think that as we move forward, I want you to understand what a typical virus cycle looks like. And this is a crazy time. The crescendo is going to go on for several weeks. And that's when it starts to feel normal, and it'll stay the same way, and it's going to plateau for several weeks. This is when it starts to decrease, and it's going to decrescendo for several weeks. This is the typical cycle of a virus, okay? Viruses, they're not even germs. They're not even living. They're just made up of genetic material inside of a protein coating. And these viruses are, you've heard of them before, with different diseases such as the common cold, the common flu. You have viruses that cause warts. You also have viruses that cause HIV and smallpox and Ebola. Viruses literally are hijackers. They invade living normal cells, and they use those cells to multiply and produce other viruses like themselves. They can kill, and they can damage, and they can change the cells and make you sick. But different viruses attack certain cells in your body, such as your liver or your respiratory system or even your blood. So when you get a virus, you might not always be sick from it. Your immune system may actually be able to fight it off. That's what your immune system's been designed to do. So for most viral infections, treatments really only work and help with the symptoms while you wait for your immune system to fight off that virus. So I'm going to repeat that back to you. For most viral infections, the treatments can only help with symptoms while you wait for your immune system to fight off that virus. Just on a side note, antibiotics do not work for viral infections. Okay, so I actually had one of our I was talking to one of our practice members on the phone the other day, and she said that she had been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Okay. And I said, well, what did you do? She goes, well, I had gone to the hospital. And I said, well, what did they tell you to do? And they said, just go home and let it run its course. Okay. The big thing is this, is obviously this virus that we're concerned about, it spreads. It spreads person to person. And it really is between people who are in close contact with one another. You've heard that 6 feet, keep a distance there. Really through respiratory droplets, like when a person coughs or sneezes, and these droplets can land in the mouths and the noses of the people who are nearby. So like if you're coughing, don't cough in somebody's face. Can somebody spread the virus without being sick? That's another question that I get. People are thought to be the most contagious when they're the most symptomatic, okay? So the sickest people are the ones that are the most contagious. You know, some spread might be possible before people show up symptoms, but it's really too early to know. There's no hard facts out there. And so I was out walking in Coyote Valley Park the other day, and literally people were walking off the path through the bushes just to get away from somebody else. They were turning their backs to other people. My concern is about society moving forward. When we learned how to actually greet people, we've stopped shaking hands and stopped hugging each other. But there have been reports of this occurring as far as people, without being sick, spreading with the coronavirus, but it's not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. You can get it from contact with contaminated surface. It's possible. Remember, I said it's possible, not probable, that a person can get the virus by touching a surface or an object that has the virus on it, and then touching their own nose and mouth, and possibly their eyes. But this is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. Now, the question is how easily does it spread? Look, I'm not a virologist. I'm not an expert in this area. I'm just, my job is to be able to simplify things for you. How easily a virus spreads from person to person can really vary. Some viruses are highly contagious and they spread easily, like measles, while others don't spread as easily. Another factor in the spread is what they call sustained. Another factor is whether the spread is sustained or spreading continuously without stopping. The virus that we're concerned about right now seems to be spreading easily and sustainably in the community, and really in specific geographic areas there. So how does it spread? Well, first of all, it spreads in what we call person-to-person contact. It's we talk about it within that 6 feet. Though the respiratory droplets that are produced when a person sneezes. So hold on one second. There we go. So what is our focus? Our number one focus is distraction, right? We hear all this stuff in the news and we get panicked. But distraction is going on right now. And what I want to do is I need to refocus your brain. And I know that seems to be out of control. Like, we don't know these things. We don't know that. But what we do know is that we need to focus on the things that we have control of it. We have to focus so that you can get control over your fears. Right now we're in the eye of the storm. And that's where the calm can be if you choose to be there. But you have to make a plan. You have to, the plan is, you don't want it, you had it, you have it, you're going to get it, not going to get it. Nobody knows, right? But you have to have a different plan. And this is going to be, obviously, some of the things that they talk about with the hand washing and disinfecting surfaces and social distancing and limiting points of contact. Yes, these are always best practices in any type of flu season there. But also, the main thing is that, like there's also things that we can do on the other hand. So we can hide away and not do those things, or we can start focusing on what's on the inside of us, because what's on the inside of us is always more powerful than what's on the outside of us. Look, guys, we were designed to fight flus, right? Like, our body was designed to fight flus. And so here's some important thoughts that I've had, and it's important to take care of yourself. And this is what I've been talking about for the last 25 years. I feel like I've been preparing for this my entire practice career. It's the same thing that I've been talking about for 25 years, is that you need to have a good mindset. You need to have one that minimizes stress. You need to have a properly functioning nervous system. You need to eat right. you need to exercise and move and get oxygen to your body, and you need to remove toxicity from your body. And so let me start by saying that getting adjusted, look, there's some studies that are out there that shows that it can boost your immune system. Look, that's based on the person, right? So the person that is doing the right things, obviously is going to have a bigger impact there. But the other thing is this, is that it's really, and that's really one of the reasons why it's a critical component of keeping my family healthy. But what I want you to do is that, look, if you're not feeling well, just rest. If you're feeling out of sorts, rest is so critical, and listening to your body. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. It's critical to be able to keep you staying healthy and keep yourself ahead of this. Getting out and walking and exercising and doing resistance training and yoga and, doing your T3 exercise. Those are super important. Be positive and think about the best and prepare for the worst, right? We have two choices of what we can do. My dad used to always say, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. I'm going to prepare for the best. And I'm also going to prepare for the worst. I want you to be mindful. Don't get caught up in the downward spiral of all the information that's coming in. Trust your instincts, trust yourself, trust your voice. Some of the things that I'm recommending is, when we're looking at kids, they should be taking the same supplements that you're taking. They should be taking those supplements. Kids are at a low risk, but I think that, like 400 IUs for a kid is a good amount. Studies show it's about 35 for every 35 pounds, you should be taking about 1,000 units minimum on a daily basis. For me, I've boosted my families up, to right around 20,000 units. But the biggest concern with this is the elderly who have overstressed immunities and chronic disease like diabetes and cardiovascular issues and lung pathologies. Those are going to be the people that are at the most risk. So the important thing is that those are the people many times that are inside. They're not getting exposed to the sun. They're many times when they look at studies, the elderly population is the most immunodepressed there. So vitamin D is going to boost immunity by facilitating what's called leukocytes, which is a type of white blood cell. And there is a correlation with infections from viruses and vitamin deficiency. Vitamin K will also helps the absorption of vitamin D. Vitamin C is also a strong antioxidant, and is known that viruses develop in what's called an oxidized cellular environment. Other things, N-acetylcysteine, it can ensure strong protection for the lungs. It's also a precursor of our most important antioxidants there. Our most important antioxidants there. People with respiratory issues, especially COPD, should take up to about 600 milligrams twice a day. And the cofactor for glutathione transformation, which is your natural detoxifier, is selenium. So really look at, if you haven't taken a multivitamin, make sure you're taking your multivitamin there. Zinc's another great cofactor for intestinal immunity and for the repair of DNA. Melatonin is a strong, it has strong immune boosting effects, and so is DHEA when it's transformed into its keto metabolite. So elderly adults are often DHEA deficient there. So making sure that you're taking your supplements right now. We always talk about our daily essentials, which have, your omegas in there. They have your vitamin D in there. They have your magnesium in there. They have your B vitamins in there. Those are some of the things that we talk about, but also curcumin is another important remedy, which helps to boost immunity and reduce systemic inflammation. And then there's also, people talk about essential oils, which some of them have very strong, antiviral effects, like oregano. Other things like royal jelly and contains high concentration of vitamins and minerals, as well as antioxidants. There's herbal teas of thyme and oregano, which have been shown to help to diminish mold and candida in the intestine. Just remember, about 80% of your immune system is actually in your intestine. So if your intestines are having a hard time, your immune system is going to have a hard time. But really, remember, the virus will only adhere to cell membranes and invade the cell membrane if the immune barriers are low. So you have to trust your innate intelligence, the intelligence that's within you, that intelligence that brought you from a single egg to like 72 trillion cells in your body. It's the thing that that knows how to make your heart beat and your lungs breathe. That's the thing that creates your immune system that's been keeping you alive all these years. Look, none of us were born in a bubble, right? We weren't. Remember, there was that old story about the boy in the bubble. Well, none of us were born in the bubble. We've all been exposed to viruses and bacteria our whole life there. That innate intelligence on the inside of you, it protects you, and it gives the immune system the resources that it needs to function at the highest level. But if your immune system doesn't have the tools that it needs to have, it's never going to be able to function at that high level there. So make sure you drink make sure you drink water, right? Make sure you stay hydrated. I'm recommending that, my family drinks half their body weight in ounces there. Physical exercise. When you're feeling good. Like if you're feeling bad, you don't have to push it. Maybe just go for a nice walk there. But most importantly, I want you to stay positive, okay? Here's what I call the do's and don'ts. Sugar suppresses the immune system. Glucose and vitamin C, or sugar, glucose, which is, like what sugar converts into, and vitamin C are nearly identical molecules. They have the same receptors, or the doors in the cells to be used by the cell. So, cells that have a higher affinity for sugar, like the brain runs on sugar, basically the sugar gets into the cells first instead of vitamin C. And so your immune system consumes vitamin C to function and fight infections. So one of the important things is that we've always talked about the three things that we look at is we cut the carbs, we change your proteins, and we remove toxicity. So when we're starting to, here's some of the do's: eat a lot of non-starchy vegetables. You can have some fruit, have your berries, have the fruits that have high fiber to them. But mostly the berries have a lot of antioxidants in there. When you're eating your meat, fish, and poultry, make sure that they're clean meats. Just don't go out and get Taco Bell right now just because you can drive through there. If you eat a sick meat, you're going to become sick there. You're going to have eggs. Make sure they're free range, and make sure you're getting good fats like your coconut oils and into your body there. Stay away from trans fats like chips and things along those lines. Nuts and seeds, and just make sure you drink a lot of water. Most importantly, sometimes it's the things that we can do all the right things, but if we're doing all the bad things, it's actually going to cancel that out there. So stay away from your breads, pastas, cereals, and grains. Those things will convert into sugar, which interferes with your immune system and suppresses it there. Artificial sweeteners. Stay away from artificial sweeteners. And a lot of times people ask me, Dr. Osborne, can I eat this? And I say no, because if it turns to sugar in your body, that's when we start having challenges. Bad vegetable oils. Any vegetable oil, anything that's hydrogenated, anything that is like a man-made oil, canola oils, safflower oil, those are, there's in your Align Your Health book, there's a whole list of them. Make sure you reference that or reread your Align Your Health book now. But some of the things that we want to have are like good oils, like olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oils. Those are all things that efficiently burn in your body and help build the cell membranes. Really try to minimize dairy products. A vast majority of the world's population is allergic to dairy products. And so it creates mucus in the lungs. So try to really minimize your dairy products at this time. Soda, juice, alcohol, get rid of those things right now. They don't have any place. They raise your insulin levels. But most importantly, sugar. If you could do one thing right now that would work on an insurance policy for you, that would be to minimize sugar, which suppresses your immune system. So here's some of the main things that I really want you to think about. Your omega-3s. Omega-3s are they deal with chronic cellular inflammation. In fact, today we were giving away omega-3s to everybody that came in, just because we wanted to help them. We have the probiotics to be able to help your normal gut flora, to help your immune system in your gut there. Making sure you're getting a whole food multivitamin supplement. That means that it actually comes from food, not a lab. And so that's one of the things when we put together our stuff here in the office, that was a #1 standard, that it has to come from a whole food source. Your vitamin C, which is for your immune system, your vitamin D with your immune system, making sure that if you do have and a lot of times I'm going to bring this up, but vitamin K2 is incredibly important, because if you have too much calcium coming into your body, it doesn't know where to go. What vitamin K2 does is it tells it where to go. Your multivitamins like B, which are for your anti-stress vitamins, and things like selenium. Those are super important right now. Exercise. Look, it's a required nutrient. Like you're genetically required to exercise. If you want to have healing and immunity, the benefits of exercise are massive. Like I said, it's a required nutrient, and lack of motion literally upsets your normal cell function, and you are only as healthy as your cells are. So when we change our movement patterns, it drives our normal hormone cycles. We get better rest and sleep. We get less social stress. And it also moves the circulation of blood as well as lymphatic flow, which means that it carries white blood cells to areas of infection and away. The lymphatic system, on a side note, is the janitorial system of your body, and it's crucial for you to be able to maintain an optimal immune system. We've done some videos in the past, and when we do what's called surge training, or T3, in our office, which is a high intensity, short duration exercise that only lasts a couple minutes there. Just know I'll post a couple examples of this that you can follow along, and we'll be starting to post some more of those videos online there for you guys too. Sleep. It's incredibly important at this time to get sleep. Sleep is seductive in that many times we can watch with Netflix, it automatically starts the next video, right? And next thing you know, it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. If you're fighting something, you make sure you get to at least 7 hours of sleep there. Electronic fast before you go to sleep. Stay away from that. A lot of times people say, well, I can never read the Bible because I always fall asleep. Well, read the Bible before you go to bed. Find a technical journal. But the other thing is every day I take a nap. I come home at lunchtime, I take a 20-minute nap. It resets you. Sleep is another one of those genetic requirements. And studies show that if you don't sleep, it suppresses your immune system. So nobody has an excuse not to sleep right now. Next thing is the spark. Literally, it's the spark of life is how you think. And I really think this is the most important thing. And that's why, to me, it's essential. Number one is that we want our immune system to be burning bright, right? So we have to choose how to think. And our choices are absolutely critical. So your thought life and your thought patterns have a massive influence on your body chemistry, and because they have an influence on your body chemistry, they're going to have an influence on your immune functions. So these stressful thought patterns produce stress hormones, and they produce what's called an adaptive physiology. Your body literally doesn't know what's real and what's a thought. But those stress hormones are going to put you in fight or flight. They're going to downregulate your immune system, and eventually it's just going to be like a car battery, right? You just leave the lights on, and eventually the battery crashes. It's not a problem with the car. It's just you've just been using it the wrong way. That energy is redirected away from the immune system, and it moves into your musculoskeletal system because you're trying to fight that tiger. And so we want to be able to the immune system takes a lot of energy. We want to be able to conserve that energy and to bring it back to where it needs to be there. So when you're stressed, your body's going to prepare to fight or flee from a threat from the outside, like a tiger, right? But your body is so smart that it's trying to save you in the moment. But what it does is it has to temporarily ignore the rest of your body there. So when you're running from a tiger, your body doesn't care about a virus, right? It just wants you to survive. But the problem is that stress is only supposed to last for about 3 minutes. And most of us, it's lasting for, 10 days now, 12 days now. And they're saying sometime maybe up to 3 months. So we got to do something different, guys. So the premise I need you to understand is this. This is your plan. And if you're in agreement on this, then we can continue this conversation. Number one, here's what we know to be true. Health is your normal state. You were born healthy. That when somebody has disease, it's just an absence of health. Something's interfering with you expressing your health. And your body's smart. It knows what to do. You never have to think about making an immune response. Your body's been doing it since the day you're born. And one of the most important things is most people forget that their nervous system is their master system. It's the system that determines how you respond to and cope with stress. And your spine is your suit of armor. It's the thing that protects your nervous system, that allows the intelligence of your body to help you maintain health. And the problem is the life that we're living is like unnaturally stressful. So we look at some of the normal things of a stress response, like blood pressure and heart rate and muscle tone and digestion issues and decreased serotonin, like depression. And our sensory systems get ramped up, and we live in fear and anxiety. We have immune issues and insulin sensitivity, like diabetes. We have like our bad blood fats go up there. We start getting clots and disruption of sleep. Those are all the health problems as a country that we had before this virus started. And does anybody think that it's going to get better or it's going to get worse, right? So that rest and repair, that parasympathetic, well, let me go back. You have what's called an autonomic nervous system, and there's two parts of it. You have rest and repair, which is your parasympathetic nervous system, and then you have sympathetic, which is your fight or flight sympathetic nervous system there. So let me give you a couple practical examples. Stress triggers a stress response. All these hormones are released into our body, and then we go into what's called an adaptive physiology. And it's only there to save our lives in the short term. The problem is, in the long term, it actually shortens our lives. So when we're under stress, we have blood pressure increases with the threat, whether it's real or perceived. Our heart rate increases with stress, whether it's real or perceived. Muscle tone increases with stress, whether it's real or perceived. Our digestion system, it gets upset. And it speeds up initially, like you've heard somebody like they're under stress and they poop their pants, right? But then it slows down. Our sex drive and our reproductive system becomes downregulated. You don't think about having children when you're running from a tiger. Our serotonin levels go down. That's your happy hormone. You're not supposed to be happy when you're running from a tiger. We get all kinds of increased sensory things. They become downloaded, so you become doled out. They used to call it the fight or flight response. It really is the freeze response. We become catatonic with fear and anxiety. It increases with the stress, whether it's real or perceived. Our immune system becomes downregulated. Insulin sensitivity becomes downregulated, so we're much more likely to have blood sugar issues and diabetes there. We start to look at, we lose our HDL levels, our bad cholesterol goes up because it's designed for coping with stress and hormones and repair, and we start to have clots. So really, this whole process sets us up for having, diabetes and heart disease and heart attacks. So this is what we're going through. I would say probably we're going to start seeing the number of heart attacks go up in the next right now because of the amount of stress that people are under. You can control how you respond to your environment there. So the big thing is there's three sources of stress. You have your thoughts, right? Everything that you think and everything that you think about, you have a choice of what you're going to think about, what you're going to watch on TV, what you're not going to watch on TV, what books that you're going to read, the conversations that you're going to have. On the front door of our clinic says this is a corona-free zone. We're only going to talk about love, life, health, and happiness there. Toxins. Most of the toxins that people are exposed to are their medications. Over half the people in the United States are taking a medication on a daily basis, and that's a prescribed. That's not even recreational, or the ones that they're stealing from people. And the traumas, the how we sit, stand, and sleep. I mean, think about the biggest trauma that we're experiencing right now is all of us that are working from home and sitting in work environments that were not designed to sit at there. I'm seeing problems in my office over the last couple of weeks here that I'd never seen before. People that were formerly doing really well, but they're sitting at the couch, for 8 hours a day trying to get their work done. So I guess the main thing I want you to understand is that I'm going to give you guys a brief anatomy lesson, that the nervous system is the master system. The brain, the brainstem, the spinal cord, and the nerves, they're the communication system for your body, and they allow that intelligence in your body that runs your body and keeps you healthy and healing. They allow that intelligence to be able to communicate to every single tissue, cell, and organ in your body. They're protected, though, by the suit of armor, the vertebra. They're protected by the bones, and the skull is literally a helmet that protects your brain. The spinal column is the suit of armor that protects your spinal cord. And if it stays healthy, then the communication is going to be optimal, and your health is going to be optimal. But what happens when that communication breaks down? Think about your company. If all of a sudden you couldn't communicate with the other people in your company right now, or what happens on a factory line, or what happens when you have breakdown of communication in your family, you have chaos, you have disorder, you have dysfunction there. So communication is absolutely everything. So if you want to have a healthy body, then you need to have a healthy nervous system right now. If you want a healthy nervous system, you need a healthy spine. So The thing that we have to understand is that, you know, we have all these these big traumas, right? You know, slips and falls and those things. You know, everybody thinks that, you know, I was lifting the suitcase, my back went out on me. You know, I've seen a lot of people that have been working out in the yard and now their back hurts there. But more significant is going to be the trauma, what we call these micro traumas, these small little traumas that are happening on a daily basis. You know, we're watching 8 hours of TV a day right now, right? We're not living our lives the way that we're designed to, and so these traumas, they create nervous system stress, and that interferes with the communication, which changes the information going to and from the body and the brain. So interfering with how your body functions and how your body heals. And so if your body's not functioning right, can it ever be healthy? That is what we call a condition called subluxation. Here's what happens in subluxation. We get joint misalignment and we get soft tissue damage. We get inflammation. We get nerve irritation. Our muscles go into spasm. We lose the discs start to degenerate because they're not moving, and the joints become fixed, and we get elevated stress hormone levels. The most important thing I want you to understand is subluxation causes nerve irritation, like a stress to your nervous system, which interferes with your body's innate ability to heal and remain healthy. So here's a couple of things that I'm going to recommend I've been recommending my patients. Number one, first of all, for our existing patients, if you're coming in at once a week, what we've done is we've added an extra visit to your plan, which means that you get to come in an extra visit at no charge. It's that important to us that if we do the right thing to be able to help you get through this in the best way possible, okay? So we're gonna, the second thing is that, you know, if you haven't been adjusted, make sure you get adjusted. If, you know, reduce the stress on your nervous system, reduce the stress that your body is experiencing to be able to adapt to the world that we live in right now. And so I think that's the big thing that I want you to take from this is we got to reduce that stress and the interference to the nervous system to normalize that nervous system input and communication. And the big thing is and the greatest thing is it's safe, it's effective, it's the largest drug-free approach to health in the world. And it's been like that for over 100 years. And, you know, I think it's interesting is 100 years ago, you guys probably seen this online, but, you know, they had this, excuse me, Spanish flu epidemic. And, you know, that was responsible for over 500,000 American lives lost, 10 times the amount of that were lost in World War I. But when they did a comparison of people that were under chiropractic care, they fared way better than the people that were under medical care. And it's not saying that medicine was not helping, but what they were doing was they were treating the symptoms of it. Our goal is to get to the root cause and to really look at there's a cause and effect. And we really want to focus on what can we do to be able to help you build health within your body there. Second thing that we want to look at is some of the things that we need to stop doing. You know, get rid of the grains. And you know that are going to encourage things like intestinal bronchial chronic infection. Get rid of the dairy. Start eating organic, fresh food. Look, there's a ton of fresh food at the stores. Stop eating that processed stuff. You know, a lot of our livers right now are toxic, and it's caused by a lot of the high blood sugar that we're having. And so, listen to your innate intelligence. If you want to be healthy, I want you to have your wishes back, and not just wishing for normality or that you could get your health and life back. It's a choice. You guys can do it. I know you can. So here's some of the things that I want you to do with ensuring that we're healthy. Number one, rest if you're sick, right? You don't have to exercise at that time. Let your body heal. Let it take all the energy that it needs to be able to build your immune system. Sleep as much as possible. Get your extra adjustments there. Limit and avoid stressful situations. Like, you don't have to go and watch TV because you're laying in bed. Don't let them program you. Don't let them give you thoughts. Stay away from your sugars and eat simple, nutrient-dense foods. The raw, the better. Things like bone broth are really good for your digestive system, and soups and vegetable-based smoothies. Take your supplements. Give your body time to rest. So really, it comes down to this, guys. Listen to your body. Listen to your innate intelligence if you want to be healthy. I want you to all have your wishes back, not just wishing for normality or that you can get your health back again. Do the right things right now just to ensure the health and safety of your family. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll always be here for you. Have a blessed day. And you know what? We can do this. We can do this. And I want you to start thinking about it's not what's happening right now, but where are we going to be in a week from now? Where are we going to be in a month from now? And you have to start planning right now for where you want to be. You got to plant the seeds for what you want to grow tomorrow. Don't hold back and saying, when this is all over, I'm going to start living my life. You have a choice right now to start living your life. And so I thank you for being here with me tonight. And just email me if you guys ever have any questions. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Here's our email that you can just send an email to, info@drtjosborne.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you. If you want to go to our website, just go to drtjosborne.com. Or you can just go to our Discover Chiropractic Facebook page, and make sure you click on the link to discover to our Discover Health Tribe. It's a private group, but it'll make sure you get videos like this on your feed, and it'll make sure we keep the most updated information available to you. All right. Well, I thank you. Have a blessed evening, and until tomorrow.